for my speech, I'm going to be talking about the 7 articles of the U.S. Constitution. I'm going to be discussing how they do or don't help our country. So the first article of the Constitution is all touching on the legislative branch of government, which includes the House of Representatives and the Senate, and that is all made up to be called one thing, which is the United States Congress. Directly stated in the first article, but the Congress works very closely with the executive branch. Although the Congress's main job is to represent the American people and make the nation's laws, it does work very closely with the executive and the judicial branch. The executive branch is mostly the president, and the judicial branch is the basically the Supreme Court of the United States. Second article of the Constitution, it talks about the rules and regulations of the president and vice president and how they are elected. It also defines deeper in the article the responsibilities and the powers of the president and the executive branch, which include many things. So within the second article, there are 2 sections. Section 1 establishes the president's power and gives him the authority to basically run the whole executive branch. It also states that the president and the vice president have to be elected at the same exact time, basically meaning that they run together and will serve the full 4-year term together as president and vice president. Article of the U.S. Constitution, its main focus, I should say, is on the judicial branch of government, which includes the Supreme Court and all lower courtrooms in the United States. Article 3 also states that the Supreme Court judges can hold their position for their whole lifetime once they are put on. They cannot be taken off the Supreme Court roll unless they are removed or impeached or convicted of a crime. So if anyone is convicted of a crime, they always have the right to have a trial by jury, and that is directly stated in the 3rd article of the Constitution. The 4th article of the Constitution talks about the relationship between the states and the federal government. It also outlines the rules to admitting a new state in the Union. So this is a very important article for the federal government. So basically what article number 4 is saying is that it guarantees every state a part of the Union a republican form of government. It will protect all states against invasion, basically saying that the government has every state's back. Pretty simple. Of the U.S. Constitution, it's basically saying that the founding fathers realized that there might need to be some changes made to our government, you can say, and those are what we now call our amendments to the Constitution. So to be able to make a change in the Constitution, 2/3 of the House of Congress must agree to propose an amendment. It takes a positive vote by 3/4 of the whole group and of the states to make an amendment law. It also touches on the ratification of an amendment, which is basically the same process. 2/3 of the party need to vote in or out an amendment, and this whole article is basically laying and describing the outline of the nation's frame of government. Article of the U.S. Constitution, it is basically saying that the Constitution and Congress is the highest land of the law. So everyone underneath, even if in roles of authority such as state officers, federal officers, judges, they all must uphold to the Constitution, and we are all under the United States Congress, basically, is what it's saying. In the 6th article, it also establishes the laws and treaties of the United States made in accordance with the Supreme Court as the land of the law. It forbids all religious tests as requirement for holding a governmental position. So I think that's basically saying that you can't bring religion into that area. And it holds the United States in the Constitution. In this article, it holds them responsible for all debts that we are under. In the 7th and the last article of the Constitution, it's basically just all the names of the men who signed and ratified to approve the Constitution, and it also establishes the Constitution, so saying it's a thing, basically. Also, in the 7th article, it discusses the set of numbers of ratifications necessary in order for the Constitution to take an effect. Delaware, for example, is the first state to ratify the Constitution, which happened in December 7th of 1787. So it's been a very long time. The Constitution has withstood many years, and I believe is doing a lot of great things for our country. Lastly, I'd like to say that I think that the Constitution is something awesome. It's something that our founding fathers put together to make a great country. Our country is nowhere near perfect. We learn more and more about that every single day. But I think that the founding fathers set a good base for our country. I do think that some of the things in the Constitution and the federal government is kind of intense. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that the 7 articles all go well together. They all make sense. They all are doing the right thing for our country. And with that, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for listening to my speech and my video. I hope you learned something about our U.S. Constitution, because I definitely did in this whole project. I learned a lot about our government, and I think it's something that a lot of people need to know how it works, just in case them or a loved one gets in trouble with the law. You will always know how to help them out. So yeah, thank you for listening.